look at that lovely British summer weather. Of course, I'm only joking. It wasn't like this all the time. We were down on the south coast travelling around the Dorset area, and we had quite a good time actually. Most of the days the weather was quite good, and as you can see, the beaches were packed. We also did some fossil hunting as well, which quite exciting for the old kiddywinks. But I was looking for a different kind of fossil. Old video games. And lo and behold, I found them. Now I only picked up 4 because they were the only kind of decent-ish ones that I could find. But as you can see, we got the Italian Job, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX, totally rare dude, Scooter Racing, and Fear Effect 2, Retro Helix. So let's kick things off with Dave Mirra. I will say, I was pretty impressed with the way the menus look on this. I mean, I played this on a 55-inch TV screen, and you got a selection of some classic BMX chaps. You've got Dave Mirra, of course, who the game's named after, Ryan Nyquist, who apparently I'm told is quite good, Troy McMurray, whoever he is, Mike Laird, and Chad Kagi. Oh, and Tim Mirra, who I suppose is like the sort of brother of Dave. I don't know, I'm not sure. And you get bike selection and some basic costume selection. But for this, I was just sort of playing the freestyle. And when I was playing the game, the controls felt a lot like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It was very similar in control schemes, and the tricks are pretty simple. It's just generally you just hold square and then press up, down, left or right to do some kind of move. And the shoulder buttons rotate the bike in the air. It's not overly complicated, but I quite enjoyed it. It's got some rocking music on it, and I mean, let's face it, the graphics don't look too bad. It's not really my sort of game. Like I say, it does put me a lot in mind of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and also a little bit of Cool Borders, but obviously that's a slightly different approach to trick-based sports, because that's all downhill. Whereas this is in an arena, but nevertheless, still a nice little game to have in the collection when you fancy a bit of mild trickery. And next up, we've got the Italian Job. I quite like the style of the menu, which seemed to be a bit of a rip-off of the menu on the Driver games, and coincidentally, or not so, when you're actually playing the game, the controls and the feel of the game are very much like the original Driver on PlayStation. Obviously, the film came out in the 1960s, so the game is set there. The cars kind of look a bit 1960s, and in this opening cutscene, it's kind of mildly sort of representative of the film, but not overly, because the storyline is ever so slightly different. During this intro, you have a Michael Caine voice giving you sort of the backstory and what the first mission's going to be about. And I was thinking to myself, I know that voice from somewhere. And it's good old Phil Cornwall, who was kind of known for playing Michael Caine in the BBC TV show Stella Street. Absolutely love that programme, it's fantastic. He was also in Alan Partridge, which is another great British TV programme. And something about this game is that, because I'm so used to playing American driving games, I'm so used to driving on the right hand side of the road, whereas obviously in Britain, good old Blight here, we drive on the left. So this presented a few problems when I was playing along, and it's just really a generic driving game. Drive here, drive there, sometimes beat the clock, sometimes smash this up, and that's pretty much it. But something I do like, which I thought was quite novel, is in the GTA games, obviously you get stars for your wanted level, but in this game, when the police are after you, they start to read out your number plate, which is in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, and if they complete the number plate, you're busted. That's it. You don't even have to stop. As long as they've got that full number plate, you are done. But if you can outrun them, the number plate will eventually disappear, and you can get in the clear, which I thought was quite a novel way of having a police wanted level. And the police in this game are just so relentless. They're unbelievable. They do not give up. I mean, look at this. He's pushed me into a big red London bus, and I can't go forward. I can't go backwards. I just can't get out. I'm trapped. Number plate completed, you're nicked. And then there's various side missions and quests like this one, where you've just got to drive forward and smash the cones out to increase your time and get to the finish line. You won. Obviously it gets harder and harder as it goes along, but overall I'd say it's not really a game I'm going to play through, and I don't think it will stay in my collection. Another game I picked up along the same vein as good old Dave Mirra is scooter racing, and this is actually the second time that I've owned this game. I bought it years ago, got rid of it, and then I was in this charity shop in Lyme Regis and I saw it and I thought, oh my god, I've got to put that back in the collection. The cover, it's such a cheap looking cover. I mean, the kid on the front, who is he? Where is he? He's got this look on his face like, what are you looking at? I don't think it does the game justice. But when you start the game, it looks totally different to the sort of the theme on the front cover. It's very cartoony. They should have gone with one of these characters on the front. Even the logo is different from the front cover. And the characters themselves, to me, they kind of look like those Nintendo Wii avatars. Something you might create to try and kind of look like yourself. But the game does have quite a fun look and feel to it, but it is quite repetitive and it has roughly the same control scheme as Dave Mirra. It's just basically go forwards, jump, go up the ramp and do the odd trick. There are some levels in it where you just race and doing tricks actually wastes time, so you just got to keep pushing to go forward and win the race. It is quite fun to play and I should imagine it'd be quite good with more than one player. But I have no one to play with. And finally, I picked up Fear Effect 2 Retro Helix, which I'd never heard of before, I'll be honest with you. I knew nothing about this game, I'd never heard of it, and I stuck the disc in and I love the intro. I love the style and the themes, and it was quite well thought out with a splash of humour in particular this guy. At least he went out with a smile on his face. And the intro into the first mission is really long. The guy doesn't stop talking. He's like, go to the 88th floor, go to the 80th floor, go to the basement before that, go in through the sewers, go to a party to meet some guy after the basement. I was okay with this. Then the level started, and it's tank controls. I hate tank controls. I suffered through them for Resident Evil, the first one, and this game is 4 discs long, and I can't go through it again. I had a run through the opening section of the level, but I'm afraid that's as much as I'm prepared to take. It's disappointing as the intro made the game look and sound so interesting, and I'm a bit bummed about that. Yeah, this style of game layout allows for better visual design, but for me it spoils the gameplay. Also, annoyingly, a former retailer put stickers on all of the discs and most of the cover. You just don't do that. You've ruined it! Despite the occasional British weather, it was a good holiday, and these are 4 games that, it was nice to see out in the wild. Who knows, some might stay in the collection, some might not. But if you've got any memories of these games, please let me know. Thanks for watching and take care of yourselves.